Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, good whenever you are, which may be now live or some point in the future. We're here in Groningen. It's very definitely night or maybe even early morning, who knows. I'm here with Rutger van Zoudam and a whole bunch of people on my screen in front of us. And we're here to talk about outcompeting destructive systems. And we've got the challenge leads here. That's Jan-Willem Lammers and Gintaras Palenis from VMware. But before we get into that, because there's two tracks here, Rutger, talk to me just a little about outcompeting destructive systems. There's been a thread for the last few finales that we've done, because this is a finale. We are going to be talking about some winners. Mm-hmm. What is this all about?
Well, from how I see it, but I think also Jan-Willem and Gintaras can explain very well how VMware is in there, and I will also tell a little bit about that. But when we heard, so there's two stories coming together. First of all, story of last year, Willy Smits, he clearly said, and he has basically proven, that you can outcompete a destructive system that simply is out of date with a better system where it's better for nature, it's better for the people, and it's more profitable. And this is a way he revitalizes and regrows rainforests on Borneo. Yep. Then I think maybe even Jan-Willem and Gintaras met Willy at the hackathon. Maybe not, that was not even necessary. Over half a year later, I think it was early November or end of October, Jan-Willem and Gintaras were on the phone and said, we want to do this challenge. We actually want to do two of them. Yeah,
and sorry to butt in, we also have joining us on the call, and I think her sound works now, Nicola from VMware as well.
Yes, so. and that's when the, let's say, the sustainability aspect came into the equation, and it went from something with finance towards, wow, incentives for sustainability and accounting for that. And then I was able to, lucky enough to meet Sanjay, the COO of VMware in Davos, where I learned a lot from him about the enormous amount of CO2 VMware saves for its clients. And then over the course of the program I also learned that a lot of companies actually have employees completely focused on decarbonizing their IT stack. So not decarbonization in general, but just their IT stack. And then it started to all add up for me that at the core of what of the mission of VMware is to outcompete destructive systems, create incentives for better systems.
Yeah, don't punish people for doing bad stuff. Give them a better option to take.
That's it.
Wow, that's quite a journey to get this challenge started and to here. Yeah. And it's by no means finished. The weekend was just a moment, hence momentum. Because we completed 7 chapters, and that was after the months and months of planning, of course. This is chapter 8, finale day, and then chapter 9 begins, I say tomorrow because it's good for the narrative, but it already began this morning, I guess. If I may, I'd like to bring in Jan-Willem Lammers from VMware, of course. You were you were all active over the weekend, but I saw you getting in there and being very active. Of course, there were lots of people in Momentum, so it was impossible to see everything that was going on. Well, maybe from a data perspective, but not from me as a human idiot user perspective. And we're going to be talking about one of the tracks, and that is the consumer and organization-driven decarbonization. So that riffs exactly off of what I think Rutger was just saying. I'm loving your t-shirt there, you win or you die.
And what a mic setup.
Exactly, he's like a pro, and all the banners behind him, and a hand-carved Odyssey flamingo as well. I'm loving this. But back to more important topics than the decorations. Jan-Willem, talk to us about this decarbonization. Why is this a problem, or indeed a challenge that VMware wants to work on?
Yeah, so first of all, really thankful for the opportunity I got to work with Odyssey and lead this challenge. So the decarbonization part in talks with VMware, because if you look at VMware, we are in our company, we are actively driving to be a force for good, to make sure that we leave the planet behind better than that we found it. And in that effort, and you can read all about it in our yearly report where we report everything we do, VMware gives all their employees the ability to spend time with good causes to do so. And in that effort, we try to do something for our planet or for everything in the world. And so this challenge is so much more than just doing something for a good cause, because now we are able to actually kickstart an ecosystem and make a real difference for what's needed to, that's what the title says, to outcompete destructive systems. And in the decarbonization challenge, we focused on both organizations and consumers to make a flywheel to start moving the demand for more sustainable products at the cost of the less sustainable products. That was the focus of the challenge. And we had all kinds of teams in there looking at it from different angles, very interesting different angles, I have to say, to come up with ideas that either fit together or work on their own to do something there. So therefore, I think, we are very happy to be able to contribute onto this global things, the UN Sustainability Goals, with VMware and Daml and Del Boomi, all together with a great team in those two challenges to make sure that we do something for our planet and also beyond just making cool tech. Speaking of the cool tech, we write software, we launch software, we release software, we know all software has bugs, and we had a wonderful and awesome and great experience on starting this spaceship from Odyssey with all the bugs in there, getting ready, getting up, and actually not crash landing. So I'm very happy that we went through this adventure together. Besides the contents of the challenge, this was an experience that we will never forget.
And in fact, I think, if I'm not mistaken, some of the folks from VMware, and I see Del Boomi there mentioned, actually helped us just keeping an eye on the servers at nighttime because they were US-based, and Daml. Yeah. So thank you so much for being on eyes and ears and letting our tech team just get 40 minutes of sleep every now and again to keep them fresh. That was above and beyond. Thank you. You wanted, no, you didn't want, you were going to give away a prize to a team under this track, but you had multiple teams. Can you talk to us a little bit about how that decision was made, and again, without giving away which team has won?
Yes, of course. The jury discussion was with the three of us. So Nicola was part of our jury, and I also had Frank Hartkamp from RVO, from the government, in the jury. And with the three of us, we were helped, of course, with the scoring mechanism. And the intent, of course, to find the idea that is best suitable to go forward with a feasible product that you pilot, that you can actually do and make successful. That was the intent of the entire hackathon. So we focused on that, went through all the categories, and it was a close call. It was a close tie. There was lots of good teams that were very close together in points. So we didn't hesitate. We had a clear winner with just 1 point. And then when we decided that actually was the winner, we continued to philosophize or to think about that and discuss it. And it became even more clear why it was the winner and how cool it is on the ecosystem that we could continue to build and help them forward. So we were very happy with the winner that we chose and the opportunity that's been given to success.
Fabulous. Thanks for that insight. And we are about to, of course, announce that winner. Jan Willem, I'd like to do that with you because this is your track. You obviously know who that winner is. I'm just looking for a nod of a head or a thumbs up to confirm that, so I don't drop you in it. And we're gonna, that looks like a yes. And we're gonna do this in an extremely high-tech way. If you've been watching any of the other finales, you know how this is going to happen. I'm gonna have the human drum machine here on my left give me a drum roll. I'm gonna count you, Jan Willem, down from 3, 2 to 1, and let you announce the name of the winning team, and then we'll have a conversation with them. And we'll take it from there. So, assuming that's all okay, drum roll please, maestro. And Jan Willem in 3, 2, 1. The winning team for decarbonization is?
The winning team is Poort 8. So Willem and his baby can make a live appearance.
Ka-ching! Fireworks! Congratulations!
Good.
And Willem is now sitting there going, oh no, I have to unmute myself and there's a child in. We don't care, it's all good. This is an important moment and the baby is welcome. We're going to put you full screen. I'm hoping that you're actually at your computer and you didn't have to run away. Oh no! I'm getting a signal that you might not be there.
I'm here.
You're there and we hear you. Yay, congratulations.
I'm trying to also put on my camera, but
no.
sorry, that's awesome. Let's first start with that, man.
Great, and do try to get your camera on. But if that's not going to happen, it's not the end of the world.
It should be.
We don't.
It's the end of the world.
We don't see you yet, but your avatar is great. You're looking deeply thoughtful there on a boat on a lake. So. I'm going to keep talking if that's okay for you. Firstly, just how was your weekend? So, firstly, how was your weekend?
Sorry, now you can hear me and see me. Sorry, guys.
We hear you, but it's very, very jittery. This might be. What I can do for you is carry on talking about some other stuff to give you some time if you think that might solve your challenge.
Can you hear me better now?
That sounds like it might be more stable, yeah.
Okay, sorry for the technicalities. Is this good?
Yeah, it's good for now, and don't worry about it. It's been a long day for everyone. Even the technology is tired. So there we go, and we see your face too. Hey, there he is.
Evening, guys. It must be a very long day for you guys. I don't know what time you started.
7 o'clock this morning, so no problem. Ready to go for another 24 hours. No.
Good.
How was your weekend, sir?
Yeah, I was excited as usual. It was our second appearance. Last year was obviously amazing in Groningen, and we were very much looking forward to, I would say also revolutionary manner of having a hackathon. What you guys set up, as Jan Willem already referred to, that was very, very brave move, I would say. A very big pivot, I think you called it, Rutger. But I call it a very brave move to still organize this kind of event in these challenging times. Let's put it like that.
Great.
I'm very grateful for all the good people supporting that. So lots of trust there. But thanks for that. So Willem, can you tell us what you built?
So what we built is decarbonization. Decarbonization has been talked about a lot. A lot of it has been put in by many parties. But I think it's now time for action. So we were really looking for a manner how we could get parties, and we focus on logistics parties, to get the involvement, engagement, participations of all the parties, especially in the logistics ecosystem. As we said, the 25% of the carbon emission can be related to transportation, and I think it's time that also these guys start making a move. So we thought about the solution for that, and we looked at what could be a first step, a first incentive, and we thought of building a leaderboard where you could really stimulate participation and show who are the parties who are outperforming and underperforming to get some momentum. We called it in the pitch.
Sweet. And how did you do it? What kind of mechanism did you build?
Yeah, so we wanted to be independent of parties participating. So what can we do with independency is use open data. Mm-hmm. So that was the starting point. We know there's a lot of say public parties, whether it's the Dutch license plate authority, or it's the Dutch Bureau of Statistics, or it's the Dutch Ministry of Infrastructure. A lot of these logistics parties already share data with these parties. They have to do that by law, basically. And we thought, what would be an ideal starting point if we can get all this information or data that's already stored in these within these companies and get that as a starting point for our leaderboard. So you immediately get independent participation because you use data sets of, say, the governmental and the public organizations, and use that as a starting point to trigger participation and move that to the next level and get your data obviously much more detailed and much more valuable. But really a open public place people can start participating, share their data and culture that you really get this participation starting.
Nice, great.
And the solution and the technical solution, I think you maybe also are interested in, is that we try to do that by getting an authorization in. So authorizing so the logistics companies can authorize these public parties at once, so they are allowed to share their data they already store from these logistics parties.
That's an interesting part.
If that that makes sense.
Makes total sense. Talking about logistics, you're moving around with the baby?
Yeah, so I just went upstairs. So she's downstairs. She's just 6 weeks old. So
congratulations!
In bed at 10, but she was still crying a little bit, so I moved upstairs.
Well, thank you so much more for making the time to do this weekend with what was, I guess, a 5.5-week-old baby when you started this process Thursday or Friday, and that's it. It's almost like a lifetime already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So congratulations.
I think the big thanks goes to my wife. So
and presumably team as well, but never mind that.
Of course.
I'm kidding. One of the things I'm going to mention quickly, because I realize that you are perhaps somewhat in two places at the same time in your mind at the moment, is as well as the prize, we did promise you an award, not an award created by us, but created by you and your challenge and track mates, teams, etc. That is obviously a digital thing. You know this already, but I'm explaining for the folks at home. That is on screen now. It looks fantastic. It's made from 2,940. I'm glad this is the last time I ever have to say this. 2,940 little blocks, which represents the minutes consumed by you in the hackathon, plus all of the wows that your track and challenge created, plus all of the ecosystem joins, commitments, interest, invites, etc., mashed together through some algorithms, creating a truly unique piece of digital art. That is being wrapped up with the name of your team, company, etc., and turned into an NFT, non-fungible token.
Yes.
If you have no idea what that means, Google or your friendly search engine is the way to go. Willem, congratulations on that. If I may, I'm going to flip back to Jan Willem and ask him why this team. And Jan Willem, I'm seeing you, but I'm not hearing you.
No, that's because I was still muted.
Yeah.
I missed just the last part of your question
Yeah.
because you broke up on my side.
No problem. Well, you know what that is of course because you've been used to the whole weekend pushing to talk, and now we're back in the old world where you have to unmute yourself when you're ready to go. So I totally understand that we've blown your mind there. The question I had for you was what was the edge that this team brought that made it so interesting for you?
Yeah, so that's actually a couple of things. First of all, they had a great pitch. They listened really well to the advice of Gina, the TED Talk speaker. That advice really in changing their story properly. So that was a big thing. The entire weekend, they had the most interactions, the most wows, the biggest system built already on that floor. They were very visible, which helped them get all the stuff needed to do so. So that was very good.
Great.
And that week, like I said, after we closed the jury deliberation, we found out how good Match actually is, because they are using also in their solution. So that was great for us, because that's one of the intents, the site intent, of course, for the good cause first, but the technology side secondly, to join this. So that was a good way. And we had RVO in our judging, and I had a talk today with Frank from RVO, and he came up with a wealth of goodies for extending this ecosystem. So there's all kinds of subsidiaries, the WBSO subsidiary, the MIT subsidiary. He said we will like to help to enroll them there to start funding this pilot also from the government side. So that's good. There's the top sectoren from economic affairs that they want to connect the liaison for transport with them to make sure we can also get in touch with the Secretary of State, Jeltje van Nieuwenhoven, who leads the ECTA, the European Clean Truck Alliance. That's an alliance of 16 European trucking companies. That the board of that is in the Netherlands, led by Secretary of State van Nieuwenhoven. So we want to see that after the first pilot that they proposed, if we want to check that we can do the second or the third phase of that on a European scale, because these trucks don't just run in the Netherlands and they don't just run with Dutch license plates. Therefore, I have great ideas in making this really a thing that can make a huge impact, because you have to tackle this on a European level. So, of course, the first part be in Dutch to make sure to show that it's a viable solution. But then we want to try and connect that to Europe to see what's possible there.
Great, fantastic. That was actually going to be my next question, is what do you see as the next steps? But you just outlined it fantastically. Thank you very much. Jan Willem, I hope you don't mind, but I'm going to move over to Gintaris to talk about the other track in this challenge, and that was the track from plastic pollution to an upcycling economy. Are you still with us, Gintaris? There we go. You're full screen on my end. Loving the space background there, keeping it in theme. Talk to us a little bit about your and VMware's perspective on plastic pollution and the future of that.
Yeah, I think, and Stefan is not in the room, I guess, right? I always laugh, don't give me the chance to talk, because I can speak probably for, 12 hours easily.
Hey, you and me both. But, we've got the tech team here. We can, I got some beers. We can do this if you want. No problem.
Cool. Yeah, sure. So I think, we kind of take a bit of like just a kind of journey here, right? So as Rutger mentioned, right? We participated in Odyssey 2 years ago, right? As an ecosystem partner. And I was in Groningen, I kind of like got excited hugely. Last year, Stefan kind of, called me, says, hey man, we're doing this Odyssey thing again, and we actually listing you as an ecosystem partner. And I was like, listen, Stefan, hold on, I need to have a conversation with a couple of folks here, but I think we actually want the challenge, right? I don't want to be this ecosystem guy running things, but let's do something meaningful. So we kind of initially started with all like, right? but then with a bit of sustainability angle to it. Spoke with our friends and brothers and sisters at Dell and Dell Technologies, Digital Asset and others, and kind of came with this Outcompeting Destructive Systems Track. It's as Jan Willem mentioned, right? I mean, decarbonization, it's almost like an NDA framework, right? So we build the software which allows companies to reduce their carbon footprints hugely, right? I mean, we reached our goals as VMware, to be carbon neutral, right? And I think we're probably going to go, carbon negative soon. And we have Nicola also, I think, on the call somewhere. So Nicola, represents our VMware own sustainability team, right? So she can definitely, give you some more insights on, crazy things we're doing. On the other hand, it should be quite interesting, like why VMware and plastic, right? I mean, guys who are actually producing a bunch of software, and ship that software, basically through the download links, right? Why you guys are doing something along these lines? But don't forget, we have our brothers and sisters. Dell is one of the largest IT manufacturers globally, right? And Dell has a massive supply chain, right? Mm-hmm. And I think, looking at our, family kind of, companies, we actually realize that we do consume a lot of plastic. We have already initiatives, around sustainable plastic sourcing, etc. We faced many challenges to actually moving these initiatives, right? And we spoke with, a couple of our customers, right, who actually have exactly the same challenges. And we thought like, oh, you know what, we're in perfect position here. And I think Rutger, last year defined, or this spring was, think of VMware as a bridge in this situation, right? We have a vast amount of, enterprises working together with us, right? Where we help these enterprises to build their IT agendas, data centers, but also we can help these guys, connect with, let's say, teams, like, Odyssey, different solutions, and actually bring these solutions and do this kind of, perfect match in between. So, I would say, that's the long history for, how we kind of evolved into that. And, looking at what we achieved for this weekend when, talking with the teams, not having enough sleep, I assume, right? And then probably spending more time online than I ever had. Mm-hmm. Having like 3 separate calls at the same time as well. Well, I think I reached the physical limit of my brains. I'm sitting on 3 calls at the same time, talking with all of the teams, right?
Yeah, totally get that. Gintaras, I'm sorry to break in. We're starting to get a degradation on your call quality. So I'm going to save you from talking needlessly and to the point where nobody will understand you. That's no fun for anyone, let alone you. But I really love the perspective VMware is taking with this, much broader than just we do software and let's make ourselves good for the world, but going much, much broader. So you suggested that we talked to Nicola about that. We're going to do that. So Nicola, just a warning, we're going to be coming to you shortly. I'm hoping maybe if we take Gintaras off full screen, that might help a little bit with the issues. I have no idea. I'm really not a tech guy. Gintaras, you also for this the plastic pollution to upcycling came up with one winner for the prize. Is that correct?
That is correct. I think after we finished the judgment, probably to the Jan Willem's point, right? We did probably 2 or 3 hours of discussions post that, and I would say if we could select the winner, so it would be the combination of all teams actually building one thing and sizing this for the entire weekend. Some bit different, of this for economy. I think if we would be allowed, I would announce entire, cast of, these teams, as a winner, together, because they really, enrich each other's solutions together. But I see, after long discussion, we kind of, came up with one winner. I think we had some, internal, again, favorites. Our judgment team was pretty extensive. I think we're like 7 or 8 people actually on the calls, right? So yeah. So it's myself and Mike Bachman, and Chris, the guys we helped, keep Nightingale's stories, right? Siobhan, she's who is leading the climate change and environmental practice, what used to be one of the innovation leads at Unilever before, So yeah, it was an extensive team. I think we had an amount of great discussions, and I think after that was it's what you realize more, in these solutions.
Yeah, Gintaris, we're getting fewer words from you for every conversation. We got the most of that. I think more than enough. You had an extensive jury from the company and some of your partners as well, with a lot of expertise. I think, if I heard you saying, difference of opinions, but through the conversation, which you said lasted for 2 to 3 hours, it became clearer that you could award one of the teams with the head prize, but actually you would much love to be able to distribute it. That's not a thing here. So if it's okay with you, we're going to announce that winning team. I say we. I'm going to try and let you do it, but if your audio fails, then I am your backup. I've got the drum machine here, so let's get the drum machine rolling. Rutger, that's you. And we're going to say, Gintaris, 3, 2, 1. The winner of the plastic pollution to upcycling economy track is
Team Circularize.
Woo! Fabulous. And
we can not see Jordi celebrate, but almost.
Wow, that's really poor timing for us to have issues. I wonder if we have just simply overloaded all of Google's servers by doing this all day long.
Impossible. I just on the background did a speed test. We're flying, so it should be great.
It's not us. It's probably not Jordi. I can't believe it's Jordi. So it's got to be somewhere in the middle.
There's a glitch.
Jordi, if you're there and you can give us a sign of life, audio is good enough.
Maybe you guys can see and hear me.
Hey,
The audio
Mesbah.
is really.
All right, we've got Mesbah. Hi, how are you?
Hi everybody. Good. We're great.
Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you. It's been a wonderful weekend, and we're really excited to get this news.
Fabulous. Well, also congratulations from me. We see you a little jittery. The audio seems to be okay. Tech is saying it really isn't our end. So I'm going to ask you, and hopefully we get this done. If not, I'll take over and Rutger and I will attempt to save the day. What did you build? What was your focus this weekend?
Sure. So the problem that we wanted to tackle was the lack of transparency at first mile of plastic collection. So we've been working on the plastic problem and proving that plastic is sustainable in certain cases, whether it's recycled or renewable, for many years now. And we've never really focused on the exact first mile where the scavengers and the harvesters are picking the plastic from the floor, basically, so to say, from the ground. And within this challenge, we did that because if you can't prove that was done in a sustainable fashion, it has a lot of risks for the brands who are sourcing that. So in proving that plastic was sourced sustainably, we can prove to the brands that they're sourcing something that is well done. There is no child labor involved, and other ethical resources are correctly done. So because the problem is so fast, we decided to create a reporting framework to make sure that collection events are having the right tools to gather right points of data and prove to the recycling companies and eventually to the brands that whatever they have collected was done in a correct way. So we built an app that they can use in order to register all the pickers that are using the plastic and gathering that, as well as a marketplace for them to offer those goods and prove with waste points. Basically, it's a way to prove how sustainable that waste was. And eventually we created another addition to that system that allows anybody to boost any collected waste by adding what we call boosters on top of purchases. So if you want to source something and it's, let's say, 400 points, but you're really looking for 500 points at least. You can boost, and by that you're directly investing back into that community, into certain programs, let's say like educational programs or other things to improve quality of that region, and therefore we think we will drive change as well as bring transparency to the industry and create this demand for sustainably sourced plastics.
Wow.
Sounds great. Mesbah, can you tell me a little bit about the proofing process? Because you say there are pickers, there are registers apparently, registrars for these kind of roles. So how did you get a good picture of this a value chain, so to say, and how is the proven?
Yeah, so we created 3 different impact points and a whole framework around that to make sure that a waste collecting event can get all these data points by either contributing that themselves or working with third-party organization to get that data. So to give an example, one thing that we built in the app is if you want to prove that there is no child labor in that event, you can register every picker with their identity and phone number, and we have a phone calling service that calls these pickers randomly and identifies their location as well as their identity in terms of their voice, to make sure that they are who they are, and because they're registered, you know who their voice is and that they're not underage, for example. And we are targeting specifically Southeast Asia and initially Thailand, where there's also a high level of smartphone adoption, so we can bring that proof to the waste collectors to gather all those data points like child labor, etc., in a very easy way, as well as working together with existing frameworks and other certificates that are already out there.
I would never have thought about voice as a way of verifying, but now that you say it, it sounds perfectly obvious. You can track a voice; it's like a fingerprint, almost one-to-one. And of course, there are certain things about tonalities of voice that can give you indications of the things that you're looking for or looking, hopefully, not to find.
It's not easy, though.
I can imagine, but we're here at Momentum. Since when was easy the goal? I'm wondering if Jordi is there as well, but obviously we talked, sorry, brain glitch.
Shall we go to Ginteras?
Not quite, because as well as the prize, there is, of course, the award. It was a different track, so there is a different award, and I just want to actually let the folks watching this know. You may notice there are now fewer people in this call. We did, as with the tech team, actually let them know, I hope, that we would remove them one by one until the call quality came back, and as you saw from Mesbah, the call quality stabilized. So we're sorry for kicking you out. It's not that you're not welcome, it's not that you suck or that you're losers. It was purely a technical thing. I hope you're still watching on the live stream, because we still love you all. Back to the award. Well, I've already described it: 2,940 blocks, and the wows for you, and the ecosystem joins. I'm sorry?
And NFT.
NFT stuff, and it looks kind of like this, kind of like this, kind of like this. Yes, it's up. Great. So well done to you folks for that. And we've got Jordi. Jordi, thumbs up. You're looking happy and smiley there.
Congrats.
Yeah, of course.
Great.
This is quite happy with it. Thanks, guys.
Awesome.
I'm just wondering though, like, how are you guys still awake? How have you done this all day?
Drinking lots of water, getting caffeine, and lots of love from the tech team going, you can do it, you can do it.
And all the amazing ideas we are hearing all day, not just ideas, actually working prototypes, products.
And pilot programs.
And pilot programs. So yeah, I mean, there is so much energy from all of the teams, the challenge leads, their stakeholders. It's easy to go through this.
You know what my biggest fear is? My biggest fear is I'm so tired that I'm not going to be able to sleep tonight because my brain is in overload.
It was incredibly inspirational. It still is.
And we're not done because, as you said, we're going to go back to Ginteras, who I'm hoping we can get nice and loud and clear now that we've reduced the number of callers in the video. Gintaras, what was it about this that made the jury say this is the team?
Well, I mean, not considering the fact that probably Jordi and his team consumed or been on like probably 20 hours out of entire 49 on the calls with Jedi's, myself, and others, and literally probably just kept changing and adding things. I think, of all of the teams, I think these guys sucked the most information possible, right? And I remember, we're spending, 2 or 3 hours, on like Friday night, and Saturday night, and literally I went to bed, with these guys, and then kind of was waking up together with them, right? So I think they've done an amazing work in really trying to understand, define the problem. I think, the final result was awesome, right? We had like 2 pre-pitches, right, before the final pitch, right?
Oh, good.
And we did it for all teams. So I think, these guys just kept improving, adding things, getting more data, the right data in place. And I think another thing, again, as Melbach kind of mentioned, it's a platform, right? So it's kind of like a framework. And I see a lot of potential how this can be, implemented, enriched, used by corporates, used by companies, and overall, help to improve that kind of, or create the circular economy as such, because it really offloads the need from companies to invest in their supply chains directly, right? Mm-hmm. So think of the, and I think that's one thing which we probably discovered, yesterday after we finished your pitches was, I think maybe, Jordan and the guys, they haven't fully realized even the potential of what they actually created there, right? And it came to our brains, through the course of, 2-3 hours talking about the solutions and trying to put them together. It was like, well, I mean, this is really wow, right? You can do a lot of cool things with it. So
great.
I'd say, yeah, I mean, well deserved, guys. I mean, great job.
Awesome, great to hear that. And we've got Nicola on the call, and I'd love to give her a word because Nicola is, I'm reliably told, the Director of Sustainability Innovation at VMware. Hi, welcome.
Hello.
There we go. You make me so jealous. You are somewhere clearly very, very sunny, and I've got a horrible feeling that you're West Coast US, aren't you?
I'm West Coast, San Diego.
Yeah,
I thought you were going to have the coolest job in the world, but
no, you. I think you have that. We're going to get there in a moment. There is a little piece of my heart still lodged in SoCal, West Coast, Best Coast, as you know. So I'm craving that sunshine. But thank you so much for joining us, whatever time of day or night or week you're at. And I wanted to ask you to follow up on something that Jan Willem said at the beginning of this, and that is that VMware sees itself as a business or a force for good. And so that means, or at least my understanding is, it's not just your job to make sure that as a big corporate you kind of buy off a little bit of your guilt by doing some nice things that give you good marketing. You actually build it into your mission to do good for the world with your whole organization. Is that right?
yeah, that's very true. I like to say we're the LED of computing, in the sense that the virtualization of software itself reduces the amount of IT infrastructure that customers need to run their workloads. So the more customers use of our virtualization software, the more sustainable they are in their computing operations. But I also believe that that we can do even more. We can do, given what we do, that we can do even more to shrink the amount of IT infrastructure customers need. And that's really my role, is how do I bring all the brains of VMware to bear on the problem of eliminating waste and stranded capacity that we all know is out there, to then reduce the IT and data center infrastructure. And of course, that would have tremendous business value, because there has to be an intersection between sustainability and business. And when there is, that's how you really scale sustainability.
Yep, and you touched on something there, and I know Rutger has a follow-up on that as well, but I mentioned, I think it was in one of the previous finales, we've been doing this all day now, that I really see that penalizing organizations, companies for doing bad stuff is probably some outdated thinking, and I think in the next decade or so, we're going to flip to a model. We're already in that process where the consumers or the users, and that can be business to business, of course, will make decisions based on, are you as a supplier somebody I want to do business with? You have a right to exist. Are you being a good global citizen? So I totally appreciate your perspective there. Rutger, you wanted to chime in, I think.
Yeah, thanks, Nick. So Nicola, where do you see this trend going? I mean, with these kinds of solutions, with the direction VMware is going, when you're looking at this intersection between business sustainability, where do you see this going in let's say the next the first year, but also after that, let's say 5 years from now?
Yeah, well, I think businesses and investors, if you see what's happening in the oil industry, right, with the cost of renewable energy is now competitive with traditional fossil fuel electricity consumption, the adoption of electric vehicles, the prices are coming down, government sort of outlawing petrochemical cars in their cities. California, we just said we're going to stop allowing the sale of petrol cars in California by 2035, I think. And I even think that because if you think of electric vehicles, they're a much better solution. Mm-hmm. So with renewable energy, why would you want to coal-fire power your electricity when you can use the wind and the sun? So I think what's happening is there's a recognition and a lot of innovation happening around how do we actually be more regenerative, not just even do less harm, which is what the traditional sustainability mindset was, is to actually, how do we be regenerative so that the outcome is actually cleaner water, cleaner air, more biodiversity, richer soil than when we started. And I think investors are starting to recognize that there's a huge competitive value in that. Generally, it's a better mousetrap. It's maybe more cost effective, less cost, more resilient, less risk. So that's how you tie. And because there's so many brilliant brains working on this now and very highly motivated, especially this generation that just competed, that it's sort of like, it's just a switch in the mindset. It's like when we design new chemicals, we can design them as their green chemistry, right? Mm-hmm. That we don't have to design them with toxic materials or that the outcome is toxic. Now that we understand that that's not a good thing. So I'm very, very enthused by the shift in demand, the mentality of investors, consumers, et cetera, that are really going to kind of drive this from a pure business perspective, but with sustainability outcomes.
And if we're looking at VMware being like the let's say the Switzerland of IT infrastructure, how can organizations interface with you in their endeavor to reverse their footprints, whether it is about carbonization or plastics footprint or chemics or what have you?
Well, I think that the low-hanging fruit for our business is in the computing and the digital operations. Yeah. Because lots of our customers have their own decarbonization goals, so we can help them when they're consolidating data centers or wanting to move to the cloud. We can help them shrink that carbon footprint. But to your point, there's lots of other platforms being developed for these solutions, like the plastic solutions, and these are going to need digital transformation, digital solutions. Even in Odyssey this weekend, Jan Willem had a brilliant idea, which is some people were having trouble with the flying around on their laptops, and so he said, hey, I'll create a VDI, a virtual desktop.
I love that idea.
And that solved a problem, right? And so can we use these digital platforms to accelerate solutions to critical environmental problems?
But that would also mean that you actually need less powerful workstations if you can work on virtual machines like that.
Exactly. Absolutely.
That is brilliant because.
And now.
So Apple doesn't like that.
You could go on the Odyssey platform with a Chromebook with this.
Yeah, that is totally awesome.
How much dev time would that save you?
None. Absolutely none. But I do think, and that's how I've also enjoyed the collaboration with you, is that thinking about these products on the fly is also how I've learned, because they're not in the call, Damel and Del Boomi, that they're completely on par with you on this. And jumping in and seizing the opportunities when it was possible, and that's also, by the way, how I know your winners, both of those teams actually, because you have picked clearly winners. Absolutely, well done.
And if I may, just a note on that, we're using the word winners here. That is, of course, of some prize money, but we don't think anybody here is losers. The other teams also go away with a token of appreciation, and you're trying to do great things. You're trying to save the world, make it a better place. So you're definitely not losing, only if you give up. And I can't imagine any of you would do that. And without putting me on the spot, I'm pretty sure the folks from VMware would love to keep the lines of communication open. And if there's good things to be done, we'll endeavour to do the best on that.
Yes.
I've got, according to my clock, a minute or two left in timing. I'd just like to go back to Jan Willem, if I may, and say, wow, what a ride. What comes next for you in this whole story?
Well, I already have the call planned for tomorrow with Willem from Port 8. He just reached out during this call. So, like I said, the things I discussed with RVO today, and I also learned from Gintaras that he's got a good friend in the UK that also happens to own a trucking company that we could bring in. He's already in this consortium, so.
Cool.
So great things happening. I think there's one thing I'd like to make as a really personal closing, which I think would be fitting. Yesterday, after the jury and everything was done, and we were in the hangout still with the teams, maybe you can find it back on the recording in Google from the judging. I thanked all the teams, so I officially closed it, and I broke. I nearly started to cry. And that was because, we know all COVID is rough on all of us in changing, getting new perspectives, handling with stuff, and we all have our issues. We all have our things going on in our personal life. But working on this Odyssey Momentum stuff really kept me going. It really motivated me to continue and gave me new energy to do all the daily tasks and everything I needed to do. So that's I'm really thankful for.
Wow, thank you so much. The tech team here is clapping their appreciation for that.
Me too.
I think there's no point in me trying to say anything more meaningful to cap that off. Rutger, do you have any last words to say on this? Or can we?
How can I trump that? It's nice trump of words, but I think these are great final words. It's been a pleasure working with you all, and look forward to the next steps in seeing those teams grow in your awesome ecosystem, and look forward to see that happen and support that wherever we can. So great. And thanks, JW, for the very, very nice words.
Fabulous. If I could ask you to just hold those thoughts for a moment. That's it. I think we're pretty much done and ready to wrap this up. If you have no idea what that was all about, don't worry, just press rewind and do it again. That's going to be available on your favorite video internet system soon. We're also going to chop these up into pieces because we've been running this all day. This was number 72,451 of the finales, or at least that's how it feels for me, celebrating all the work that our challenge leads and their stakeholders, and of course, more importantly, the teams have been doing. It's great. I don't have to say, hold this, we're going to be back in 5 minutes, because we're not going to be back in 5 minutes. So for the folks on the live stream, thank you very much. Over and out. For the folks here, thank you so much for having joined us. Thanks to the tech team for enduring this. You too, man.
Thank you, Nick.
I think we can do it. We've been around in that long enough.
Yep.
Let's close this show. And tech team, over and out. Thank you so much.
Bye. Thank
Bye-bye.
you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.